Friends, this is the story of a man who can see death approaching. One day, demons from hell attack the city and begin brutally wiping out humans, as if they have been ordered to erase all of humanity. That's when this man steps forward as humanity's savior and fights his final battle to save the world. The story begins in a crowded restaurant in the city, where a dangerous messenger from hell suddenly appears. This creature only shows up in places where a major disaster or death is about to occur. Moving quickly through the crowd, it starts searching for its next victim. Strangely, everyone else in the restaurant is laughing and enjoying themselves, completely unaware of the terrifying creature. But Thomas, who works there, becomes frightened because he possesses a special ability. He can see dead people and demonic beings like this one. So he secretly keeps an eye on the creature's every move, hoping it won't notice him. After a while, the demonic being stops near Thomas's girlfriend, Stony. Seeing this, Thomas realizes that her life is now in danger. To save her, he pretends to blow a flying kiss into the air. The creature becomes confused for a moment and stops following her. But now the demon starts suspecting Thomas. It comes right up to him, trying to figure out whether Thomas can actually see it. At that moment, Thomas's heart is pounding rapidly. Even so, he shows no fear on his face in order to keep his secret hidden. Thomas knows these creatures are not like ordinary spirits. They grow stronger from the energy of approaching death and terrible events. If they discover that a human can see them, they kill that person without mercy. Fortunately, Thomas manages to protect himself through his acting. As soon as Stony gets up from her table, the demonic creature begins following her again. Just then, the restaurant door opens, and a mysterious man wearing a suit walks inside. A strange and terrifying aura of death surrounds him. The moment the creature sees him, it abandons Stony. Thomas is shocked, because behind the man he can see an entire crowd of Hell's messengers. It looks as though they are surrounding him, as if he is someone very important. Thomas has never seen so many demons together before. Now he realizes that a massive bloodbath is about to take place in the city. The man calmly buys 2 tubs of ice cream from a shop and leaves the mall. But as soon as he steps outside, all the demons suddenly stop and turn toward Thomas at the same time, as if someone has given them an order. The next moment, they open a gate to hell and disappear. Thomas immediately gets on his scooter and follows the man to an isolated house outside the city. When the man leaves the house, Thomas seizes the opportunity, breaks the lock, and sneaks inside. Everything in the house is scattered around, and the atmosphere feels extremely creepy. He finds 3 different brands of cigarettes in an ashtray, which tells him that the man is associated with other dangerous people. Suddenly, Thomas feels an intense coldness behind him. Screams and cries begin coming from a nearby room. When he looks closely, he realizes that thousands of tortured souls are entering the room through the door handle and freezing the entire room like ice. Gathering his courage, Thomas opens the frozen door. Inside, he sees a glowing black hole on the wall. As soon as he tries to put his hand into it, black flames and terrifying tentacles begin pulling him inside. Somehow, Thomas manages to escape and runs for his life. While hiding, he discovers that the demonic creatures have returned, and this time, they have brought even more dangerous beings from hell with them. After this, Thomas immediately goes to the police chief, who already knows about his abilities. Their investigation reveals that the mysterious man's name is Mushroomhead. The problem is that without any evidence or crime, the police cannot arrest him. So the chief sends a new police officer, Ek, to investigate. Amid all this stress, Thomas tries to spend some time with Stony on the roof of a church. But then he sees Mushroomhead angrily approaching the church. Thomas becomes terrified because he thinks Mushroomhead may have discovered that he was being followed. The two quickly hide inside the church. Everything remains quiet for a while, but suddenly the door Stony is leaning against begins shaking violently. It feels as though someone is trying to break through and get inside. Terrified, Thomas and Stony immediately run out of the church, jump onto a scooter, and speed away. Thomas knows he has very little time left. He must save both himself and his girlfriend, while also preventing the massive destruction that Mushroomhead and the army of hell are about to unleash. While escaping, Thomas calls the police chief and tells him that Mushroomhead tried to attack him at the church. Upon hearing this, the chief arrives at the church with a police team. Everyone is shocked by what they find. The entire hall is badly damaged, and furniture is scattered everywhere. But the strangest thing is that there is no sign of Mushroomhead, and no evidence that he was ever there. Just then, Officer Simon approaches Thomas and says that the chief has sent him to gather information about Mushroomhead. During their conversation, Stoney notices a strange tattoo on Simon's hand. When she asks about it, Simon becomes nervous and brushes it off, claiming it is just an ordinary tattoo. On the way home, Stoney becomes emotional. She is frightened by the dangerous shadows surrounding Thomas and is terrified of losing him. Suddenly, they hear a woman screaming nearby. Thomas sees two vicious dogs attacking a woman. Before he can save her, the dogs kill her. Then a bald man arrives with a gun and shoots the dogs. When the police arrive, they discover that the dead woman is none other than Officer X's girlfriend. Thomas immediately recognizes the dogs. They are the same dangerous dogs he saw at Mushroomhead's house. Now the police finally have strong evidence against Mushroomhead. When Thomas returns home, he finds a revolver lying on the floor. The bathroom light is also on. As soon as he walks inside, he is horrified. Mushroomhead's corpse is lying in the bathtub. Thomas is completely confused. If Mushroomhead is dead, then who attacked him at the church? Looking at the body, it is obvious that Mushroomhead died quite some time ago. Thomas suddenly realizes that what he saw at the church was not the real Mushroomhead, but his wandering spirit. Now Thomas understands that someone is trying to frame him. Instead of calling the police, he hides the body in an abandoned jail. Meanwhile, the number of Hell's messengers roaming the city streets continues to grow. It is a clear sign that a massive catastrophe is approaching. Seeking help, Thomas goes to the police chief's house. There he learns that the chief has been attacked and has fallen into a coma. Searching for clues, Thomas returns to Mushroomhead's house. Suddenly, Mushroomhead's spirit attacks him. Spirits cannot directly touch people, but they can move nearby objects and use them to attack. After barely escaping with his life, Thomas returns to the abandoned jail and examines the body. There he notices the same tattoo on Mushroomhead's chest that he saw on Officer Simon's hand. The tattoo belongs to a dangerous group called the Sons of Darkness, a cult that worships destruction and chaos. Thomas now realizes that the attack is going to happen in a crowded public place. He immediately worries about Stoney because she works at the mall, so he rushes there as fast as he can. When he reaches the back of the mall, he notices Simon's police car. His suspicions grow even stronger. As soon as he enters, he is confronted with a horrifying sight. All of the security guards have been killed. Suddenly, a masked man attacks him. Thomas fights back and eventually kills him, but when he removes the mask, he is stunned. The man is Officer Eck. Now Thomas realizes that Eck was also responsible for attacking the police chief in the hospital. Thomas quickly makes his way into the main section of the mall, but what he sees leaves him horrified. The entire mall is filled with thousands of demonic shadows. Suddenly, screams echo throughout the building. All the mall doors are locked, so that no one can escape. At that moment, an attacker armed with a rifle begins firing indiscriminately into the crowd. Stoney is trapped in the same area. Thomas immediately pulls out his revolver. His hands are shaking with fear, but he gathers his courage and fires at the attacker. The messengers of hell try to stop him, but Thomas refuses to give up. Eventually, he kills the attacker. However, when he looks towards Stoney's store, he sees nothing but bullet holes and destruction. Stoney is nowhere to be found. Thomas's heart sinks. He fears that Stoney may have become another victim of the attack. Panicked, he slowly enters the store where she worked. Terrified, he believes she may already be dead. But then Stoney emerges safely from beneath the counter. Relieved to see her alive, Thomas finally takes a breath, but he immediately realizes that the danger is far from over. At that moment, he sees the spirit of Officer X's dead girlfriend. It appears that she is trying to tell him something important. Thomas removes the mask from the attacker he had just shot, but he is completely shocked by the face underneath. It is not Simon. It is the same bald man who had earlier shot the dogs. This means he was also part of the dangerous conspiracy. Following the dead woman's spirit, Thomas reaches the mall's loading area. A large truck is parked there. With the help of the truck driver, he opens the rear door and is stunned. the entire truck is packed with bombs, and the timer shows only 3 minutes remaining. Now everything becomes clear. The shooting inside the mall was only a distraction. The real plan was to blow up the entire mall with the massive bomb. That is why so many messengers of hell were present, to ensure that no one could stop such a huge disaster and the countless deaths it would cause. Suddenly, a demonic shadow enters Officer Simon's body and takes control of him. Simon then shoots the truck driver. Bullets are flying everywhere, but Thomas somehow manages to reach the truck's cab. He hotwires the truck, starts it, and begins driving it away from the mall toward an isolated area. But Simon climbs onto the truck and starts shooting at Thomas. Fortunately, he misses. Now only 10 seconds remain before the bomb explodes. Just then, Simon bends down to pick up his fallen gun. Thomas takes advantage of the opportunity and jumps from the moving truck. The next moment, the truck explodes in a massive blast. Simon and all the demonic shadows with him are consumed by the flames and destroyed. After the explosion, Thomas collapses unconscious on the ground. When Thomas opens his eyes in the hospital, he finds himself in Stoney's arms. The entire city now sees him as a hero because he saved thousands of lives. Sometime later, Thomas and Stoney are celebrating at home. It seems as though everything has finally returned to normal. But then the police chief arrives. Tears fill his eyes as he reveals a truth that shatters Thomas's entire world. Quietly, the chief says, "Thomas, this has to stop now." The police finally found Stoney's body. The words hit Thomas like a thunderbolt. The truth is that Stoney died during the very first wave of gunfire at the mall. But because of Thomas's special ability, he had been able to see her spirit. Overwhelmed by grief and love, he convinced himself that she was still alive. Now the time has come for Stoney's spirit to leave this world. Thomas is completely devastated. Through tears, he says a final goodbye to the woman he loves. Slowly, Stoney's spirit begins to fade away, and then she disappears forever. Now Thomas stands completely alone in the room. A hero who saved an entire city, yet lost the person he loved most. Thomas can still see spirits to this day, but the most beautiful person in his life will never return. And on that heartbreaking note, the story comes to an end.